果たしてクリリンを殺したのは何者なのか。
The second movie, The Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle, was released on July 18th, 1987, after Tenshinhan fires his Kikoho in the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai in the manga, and between episodes 70 and 71 in the anime adaptation after Upa and Puar defeat Dracula Man. Just like the previous movie, this is also a retelling of the source material, on the specifically aftermath of the Pilaf arc, with Goku and Kuririn becoming Munteroshi's pupils, but also adding Goku's Ozaru transformation from the Pilaf arc, likewise with some differences. Direction is handled by Nishio, Maeda's the supervisor again, but this time Keiji Terui replaces Toshiki Inoue as the writer. So, this film is widely considered an improvement over the first one, but quite frankly, I don't really agree. How is that? Well, we'd better begin from the positive aspects beforehand, so that we can dissect better what's wrong with it. First of all, of the original 3 movies, Kikuchi 7400 is the more competent soundtrack and feels like such an added value. Plenty of these tracks get to be used in the main series rather frequently. For example, the title card track is played when Kuririn senses an enraged Frieza flying at full speed. The unreleased Kuririn's theme also used when Goku breaks his bed while traveling to Namek. Race to Devil's Hand ironically used during the match between Goku and Kuririn in the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai. The released track used during Goku's Meteor combination against Piccolo. The Demon Battle also played during the rematch between Goku and Piccolo Daimao, as well as some other times. This unreleased track used when Goku headbutts Piccolo for the win. And of course the Sleeping Princess Chorus of Doom, the best one, played during Piccolo's sacrifice and Vegeta's demise on Namek. There is also an instrumental version without the chorus, unused in the movie but played in a few occasions in the anime, like on Tenshinhan preparing his Kikoho in the tournament, Frieza enjoying Kuririn's suffering, and Piccolo getting machine gun blasted by third form Frieza. This is a great soundtrack. I wish I could describe every single track one by one. One thing I enjoyed is the development of Goku and Kuririn's relationship, which was both simple and difficult to miss because it's Goku and Kuririn we're talking about. Missing the point of their friendship would be so absurd, but fortunately this is not the case. In fact, this is the part I genuinely enjoyed the most, since not only it's in line with the source material, but does manage to be quite entertaining. Even if you don't have so much time to spend on them, both characters showcase such distinct personalities, it's simply impossible to even spot a single forced moment. Kuririn's initial disloyalty and skepticism clash with Goku's selfless purity enough to let Kuririn realize his partner's behavior later in the movie, and this bold change of heart is 100% natural. It's positively nothing like Kame Sennin giving skin tone to Goku in the first movie, since there was no premise to begin with, unlike here. While it may not be the first time I state this, I do consider the first quarter the true highlight of this film. It's quite dynamic and animated, and is indeed aware of its narrative potential, like in its swimming portion, in which Goku swims fast just because, and Kuririn swims faster because chased by a shark. A decent punchline, very far away from the character abuse of Koyama's movies. Whoa, I can't wait for it. Interesting how he hinders Goku in any possible way, either by tricking him or cutting off the suspension bridge. Sure, it retells the canon material, but in a different way I enjoy. However, what I did not enjoy is the main plot, because it's way too linear and middle of the road, featuring Lucifer, the main villain, who wants to use the Sleeping Princess, a diamond, to power a beam cannon that will be used to destroy the sun. As Lucifer is essentially a vampire and hates sunlight. Not the most imaginative setup. In fact, the story leaves me zero impression. I just don't care for it. I don't care for Lucifer, it's way too generic as a villain, and his sidekick may exhibit a decent design, but again, he's kinda dull too. What's regardless memorable about him is that Yamcha gets to defeat him. Finally a win for Yamcha, good for him. Moreover, what's with Lunch's inclusion? If this movie ever sought after an actual personality for Lunch, I wouldn't mind her presence. Instead, she's shown doing the exact same stuff she does in the main series. Her blonde self is an overbearing robber, and her blue-haired self an absent-minded NPC. The irony about her is that she actually possesses no unique personality in spite of her bipolarism. She's no Bulma, she's no Chi-Chi. No wonder Toriyama forgot about her. She's just there either for fanservice or for the sneeze gag, which will never ever get old, right? As for the pacing, it may appear as more consistent than the previous movie, but is far from being satisfactory as well, since the conclusion remains kinda rushed. The conflict ends way too quickly. Goku only needs to fire a Kamehameha at Lucifer's machine to finish the whole thing. There is literally no struggle whatsoever. Then again, this is the outcome of prolonging the Kazuteru portion this much, which inevitably brings up the most severe flaw of this movie, the action. While the first movie had more gifted animators handle action and quantity animators tackle slice-of-life bits, this movie comes up with a very short-sighted idea of doing the total opposite. Now Takeo Ide appears at the beginning and Katsuyoshi Nakatsuru animates Bulma and the others at Kame House. No doubt they're competent scenes, but tend to go to the detriment of the action. Look, Dragon Ball fans tend to display very differing opinions about what they want the show to focus on more, storytelling, punches, or even both. Personally, if the action needs to overshadow storytelling, it has to give a solid reason, which is looking good. Thus, I can forgive this solution as long as the action manages to be likable enough. Otherwise, you would get the anime adaptation of the Buu arc until the final battle and this very movie. The Kazuteru portion basically snatches screen time from the last segment, which I wouldn't mind if Ebizawa wasn't such a boring animator. Goku and Kuririn take on Kazuteru and his army, and the result is something I'd expect from a studio live episode, not from a full-length film. What we get is Ebizawa recycling poses and gestures over and over. His timing is so horrific, and his kicks remain an insult to anatomy. Masayuki Uchiyama handles Goku as an Ozaru, again not the most exciting trip, but I can imagine it as a forerunner of Naoto Shishida's Ozaru scenes in the Saiyan arc. Fun fact, these two movies feature the regular ending song Romantic Agure Yo, which we heard 153 more times in the anime. However, maybe it's just me, but replacing Bulma staring at a 70cm squared window with the demon army just doesn't fit the song mood. Overall, I just don't consider Sleeping Princess a better film than its predecessor, so it should deserve the mediocre tier. Harmless yet subpar content.